Hello, I'm and welcome back to the video. Today we're going to talk about the Minecraft 1.13 snapshots, which if you don't know are slowly rolling out for Minecraft on the Java edition. This is something they tend to do every single, week of the Minecraft development on the next update, so that the community can kind of bug test the updates, make sure it's working, and when the main update rolls out, it's going to have properly tested, checked features, and that means that there's a lot of exciting things that we see in these snapshots first. And I actually did a video on this snapshot earlier this week, but I actually missed out one of the features, which at that point was just a creative-only feature, but has now been added to survival in the snapshot as a crafting recipe and everything, because it's the bark blocks. I also, found since then, because there's been another snapshot, like I said, there's an interesting way to make these vertical half stabs. It's kind of like a trick thing, but still, it looks like a vertical half stab. And then also, the horse has a brand new model, and I wanted to go over all of these things in today's video. Hopefully, you all do enjoy it. You can like it if you do like it, because it helps out the channel a lot, and lets know you do like vertical half stabs, which again, this is the closest thing we've ever had to one. And again, I feel like for a lot of people's, purposes, this is going to be a pretty practical vertical half slab, because as you can see, look at that. That looks like it's a vertical half stab, right? Except it's actually a scam. So this comes in from Gino4KA on the Reddit. And again, I was convinced by this when I first saw it, I was convinced it's a mod. But no, this is vanilla Minecraft 1.13 or snapshot 1.13. The way this works, if it's not clear right now, is they're actually two separate blocks. So yeah, basically trapdoors were rolled out to 5 new types of blocks, which means you now have chocolate bar block, you now have these blocks. But most interestingly of all, you have the Spruce Trapdoor, which looks really great on the surface, but you can also hide the surface if you look at it from the side, and it looks like it's just a spruce block. You use 2 of these together, and I don't think it takes a genius to work out that this is just 2 trapdoors combined together, but it looks so convincing, and I feel like for a lot of builds, this will genuinely work as the vertical half stab. So we have our first vertical half stab. It's not intended. Real vertical half stabs are never coming to the game. It's been confirmed a billion times, unless like Jeb dies and so does the rest of the Minecraft development team. I doubt that's ever going to change because it just doesn't fit into their vision for Minecraft. Or really, if you think about it, it turns Minecraft into not being a block-based game, into being this game about half blocks and semi-blocks. And they've even said before that the half block was one of the biggest mistakes they've ever made. So yeah, basically we're never going to see a real vertical half stab, but we do have this right now, and again, I love it, and maybe you do too. But anyway, let's move on to the next thing, which is the bark blocks, because I think bark blocks are rather fascinating. I actually, I found them in my secret video, and then I had to upload a secret video a few days later because other news came out. But basically, I found it in the secret video, and then it happened to turn out into the game, which made me feel like, oh, look how smart I am. I guess a feature before it came out. But yeah, as you can see, this is what it looks like when it's in your inventory. And just in case you're not certain, this is 6-sided. I wanted to really show you all the sides. We can even stack above them and really show that all 6 sides are made from the bark of the tree, which is quite fascinating because again, this is something you could technically have. There were weird piston glitches on consoles to do this. There were commands you used to be able to do on PC to get this, and basically this is a block which existed kind of before, but now it's officially in the game, and it's something which a lot of people do want because if you're making trees, it's easier to do it than this, I guess, so you don't see the ugly side of the tree. And also if you're just doing anything that requires you to have 3 of the same side visible, and maybe the other one doesn't matter, this is just a great way to do that. So they finally added it to the game. So again, if you want to make a tree or something, I mean, again, when you're doing it like this anyway, it doesn't matter whether it's bark blocks, it just kind of looks more accurate. So how do you craft these bark blocks, you might question? Again, this was added in the second snapshot, so I'm almost glad I missed it in the first one because they changed it later on to make the crafting recipe for this look something like this instead. So you get 4 bits of tree, and then presumably you make all of them face each other in a way that creates 3 bits of bark block. Again, this is actually an almost logical crafting recipe. We're not quite there, but it's almost logical, and that counts for something. So now we'll just split them up, and you can see that you can craft as many of these as you like, which means that every full stack of tree wood you have will give you 48 bark, which is pretty good all things considered. So here's the 6th type of tree bark block, just in case you thought I was holding out. And personally, I think it's the best one because again, by itself, the bark of the acacia wood with the bright orange in it, I mean, it looks kind of good. You can see why you might want it, but having the bark be on all sides, it gives you this kind of petrified tree kind of look. And you know how I spoke about the petrified tree last week? Imagine trying to make a petrified tree out of this. It just looks much more scary and intimidating, and we're at the height limit. And that's kind of a thing right there. So yeah, there you go. Fun fact, you can make a huge tree. If you don't happen to be using a super weird customized world like I am, which of course used to be like this, but if we just show you what it looks like in a big stack, it looks very confusing and fascinating. And again, I feel like it looks like a petrified, slightly burnt tree, and if that's something you like in your world, then that's something you'll get. So there we go. That's the first 2 features gone over. There is the bark blocks, which I didn't mention, the bark block crafting recipe, and also the pretend half stab thing, which is so convincing, only from one angle though. That's the problem, but it's so convincing even from here. You're like, wow, that's a pretty thick trapdoor. Or again, it can match with the rest of your build if you do it right. Again, I love it personally, but let's move on from that to talk about the horse, which has come over to join us over here, in fact. So they changed the horse model again, because they changed it the first time because Jeb was like, you know what, the horse model we just kind of took from Rogue Creatures, it doesn't match the rest of the mobs, and I actually kind of understood what he meant there. Like, it is true, the horses don't match the rest of the mobs, but then he changed it, and the whole community was like, what the heck, Jeb? So he changed it again to make it slightly less ridiculous, and I think the new horse, besides, like, if you look really closely at, so for instance, if you look here, the face now actually looks pretty, sensical. The neck too. There's something a bit weird about how, like, it goes in a bit over there, but, besides the neck being kind of strange, the horse actually looks pretty good. Like, I feel like this is what a Minecraft horse should look like. Before I was on the fence about whether I preferred the new one or the old one, but this is a much better horse in my opinion, and yeah, this will be something that's rolling out in Minecraft 1.13 for the PC, and presumably, because it's just a texture change, it will roll out for the, the console, the Bedrock, all the other platforms at some point in their next major feature update. So yeah, you can expect this on all other Minecraft platforms. I know it's like a weird thing, and some people are going to be like, no, I like the existing horse. If you're curious about the changes, if you can't even tell, by the way, basically, if you look at the legs, they're now just square, like other mobs. If you look at the head, it's now more squares, and look at those ears. They're like bunny rabbit ears. Anyway, with that said, that is the horse. They've changed the model, and that's a fascinating thing you might not have realized. Also, I was playing around with the debug stick some more, because, again, who doesn't love playing around the debug stick? And I realized that this chest, which I rotated, if you can't tell, okay, wait, I rotated it here. This chest that I rotated, I actually, like, when it's rotated like this, you actually can't see through it. Also, something I've just realized right now, which I didn't play around with, is that you can't use the debug stick in survival. It is a creative-only feature. Even if you somehow get it in survival, it does not genuinely work. That is a fun fact you might not have known. So, we're going to quickly go back into... Oh, God, what am I doing here? We're going to quickly go back into... You can't use capitals, apparently. We're going to quickly go back into creative mode. So game mode, and then creative. You have to type the whole thing, apparently. We're going to enter creative mode. We're going to set the time to, I don't know, like, day. And we're going to quickly, show you that here is the debug stick magically working because we're not in survival mode anymore. So, yeah, debug stick is apparently creative only. Even if you get this new thing in survival, which you might want to get, you can't do it. And also, doesn't work on the horse. Horse doesn't care about what you think. And also, if you use it on one of these blocks right here, you'll ruin your half-stab thing. So, maybe that's your thing, maybe it's not. But there you go, fun fact with Toy Cat. So thank you very much for watching today's video. I hope you did all enjoy it. Hopefully, you're excited for this next update. Bear in mind, they don't even want people to be excited. They're like, this update's kind of boring. It's just technical stuff. But this new update, because it removes the block limit for the number of things that be added to the game, if you look at the creative menu, they're going to be able to add way more things now. That's why they added 6 new types of bark block. They added 6 new types of trapdoor. They added 6 new types of pressure plate, or 5 new, I guess, because they already had one of each. 5 new types of, trapdoor, 5 new types of button, 5 new types of pressure plate, and, the fact that we have, like, 21 blocks plus the petrified slab from before, so we have a petrified oak slab. The fact that all of these things are coming into the game is a sign that they've removed the block limit, which is really exciting because it means that, again, hypothetically in the future, we could receive updates which have way more blocks in them, which, again, whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing is up to you, but I think, in general, it's hard to argue with more content, and that's why I'm excited personally. Anyway, with that said, I hope you all enjoyed the video. This was just a quick little upload thing. I will be uploading Q&A Saturday later, and I'm also going to be streaming a lot lately, especially, today and, like, in the next few days, and also, when in December, I will be streaming a whole bunch, and it's going to be, like, a stream month, and one of the things I want to do is I want to do the, restoring the Wooden Mansion, like, recycling it, because everyone loved the destruction of the Wooden Mansion, but now I'm going to start building it from scratch. It's going to be horrendous, and you'll be like, Toy Cat, you're the worst at building ever, but it's going to be a lot of fun, so if you want to come and check out those streams, I'm going to set, like, a release date for it. In fact, like, how about we do that right now? Let's work it out. Look at a calendar and say that the release date for this thing will probably be either Monday the 4th or Sunday the 3rd of December. I'm going to, like, set that in stone later, but basically, early December, I'm going to have a huge stream series, which is going to be restoring the Wooden Mansion, and if you want to watch something live, I know a lot of people love watching it back after the fact, because, you can't see it live or whatever, but if you want to watch it live, then you'll be able to do that in early December, and I'll be streaming pretty much every single day in December also, so there you go. There's your stream updates for the month, the week, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!